Welcome to another episode of URC Chumps Podcast. It's getting exciting. We got the finals coming up this week. It's been one hell of a battle over the past couple of months and everything. Tim, I'm so glad to have you back. It's awesome having conversations with you. Unfortunately, the other guys aren't able to join us today. But yeah, how are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Good. Long day, but I'm glad to be here. And obviously got a lot to chat about, so excited.
Yeah, I mean, we were just having a quick discussion on some of the stuff, but we will get straight into it. Like this, right now, we are going to be looking at, you can see my screen, eh?
Yeah.
So you can see my screen, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Like now we got the last 3 days until the final, the big final of Leinster versus the Bulls. And of course, it was basically down to the results that happened this weekend, with Leinster absolutely dominating Glasgow. They weren't able to break free, which obviously gave them the win. And I watched that game. It was kind of exciting. It was awesome to watch. I don't know if you watched that game.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked different to the Northampton game. I had a
two
funny
different
feeling.
styles of teams, man.
Yeah, I had a funny feeling it was going to start that way, but it didn't, and they came out on top. And now they made their first final, I think, in 4 years. Which, of course, the last one they won was before the URC actually was inaugurated. And then the Bulls versus Sharks. The Bulls absolutely bullied the Sharks.
Yeah, I mean, there weren't any surprises for me. I did say that would be the result. So I wasn't shocked by the results, but I was shocked about a few things in the Sharks-Bulls game. For example, the Sharks forwards getting shunted in the scrums in the first half. That shocked me. That took me by surprise.
And the lack of kicking expertise that the Sharks had. I mean, I was saying to someone, you know what's funny? Yeah, but you know what's funny is how everybody who hates Amani Libbok isn't saying anything now after both the Hendrickson brothers struggled to kick.
Like if you were an Irishman or a Munster fan, you'd be screaming justice, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
both of them slipping.
It's that comical rugby god having a laugh at the Hendricks brothers after last week. I mean, it's actually quite comical if you think about it.
Yeah.
He was giving shit about kicking, or excuse me, and then he does a box kick straight across field, turnover, and they score.
So and then slipping while kicking as well.
Yeah,
both of them.
Yeah. So I mean, you can't just say it's the Hendricks brothers, because if you look at someone like Lukando, he's a fantastic player, but man, did he have a bad game. He was absolutely terrible. And I feel for the guy, because he's a very good rugby player. He's an exceptional rugby player. And that's probably the worst game he's going to have. Oh, man, shame. I don't know what else to say.
Even though he was on the losing side, Ethan Hooker, wow, what a game he had. Everything up in the air, he was winning.
I'm a big fan of his, but who impressed me was the work rate of Mpimpi, bro. That work rate. He worked on both wings. He cleaned rucks. He looked for the ball. I was super impressed with that man. Yeah, that man. Like, really, his work rate on the weekend was exceptional.
But I also think the combination of de Klerk and Moody did also make him work a little bit harder.
Yeah, I mean, the Bulls. I mean, I said last week, the Bulls are just a really good side at the moment. They've got the right combination between in your face with their brutes, and then they've got some guys who can fly a pass. Oh, they got that. It's an impressive unit they have, huh?
No, it really is. And like I said, I was watching some of the hits and everything like that, and I was like, wow, they are
Well,
getting bullied.
yeah, but I want to know this. This for me, it couldn't have come at a worse time. Hanekom
Hanako.
getting injured, and he's so crucial to the Bulls' loose trio and to their side. He's a great ball carrier. His work rate's high. He's influential. He's oh man, he's a big loss, and he's a big loss for South Africa too. I really wanted to see him in these test matches and see what he can do at the international level. I'm very
I mean,
sad that he got injured. Very, very sad. And I think
uh,
that might make the difference between the two sides of these two sides in the weekend and the final.
no, I agree in the final. I mean, luckily for us, we do have a deep pool to dig into, which has also given everyone Rust now the nod to put on the green and gold again, which I think some people do
Okay,
believe.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it, and it's a very unpopular opinion. I am not a even Rose fan.
Now, yes, I will be honest. I do love the guy when he keeps his head. When he keeps his head, he can be fantastic. I did also see some stats that actually showed that he has been one of the better eights in the South African setup. No, no, like some of the stats he was leading, like the meters gained, tackles, and stuff like that. However, Hanekom was always there when you needed him in that little bit. And unfortunately for Rus, and also what lets him down big time. And I think right now, Russie's probably shouting in his ear right now is to keep his head and not lose that discipline because
Of
that
course.
is what drops him. Because
Do
if he kept his head, he would be great.
you want to know what I think of this of Rose? I think he is a poor man's Dwayne Vermeulen.
But like at the same
He's
time, when
like
you
if
hear
Dwayne
his
Vermeulen was made in Thailand.
team with Dwayne Vermeulen,
Again, exactly. Like he's just he wants to be that guy, but he's just way off that. Like he's the same sort of player, but just not as good.
no,
Maybe he
the
could
thing
be, maybe he could be, but he's got a lot to learn. He's got to get his head right. Um, he could be, but I
he
think he
could be,
lacks the offloading skills that someone like Honeycomb has, and how
but
good
you see,
Honeycomb is in the lineout, and yeah,
you see, now that's where the other conversation comes in. Those stats, Rus was down, and that's what helped Honeycomb go up. I mean, Honeycomb wasn't far behind Rus in those other stats when it
well,
came
Honeycomb
to
makes meters, man.
averages.
He's
Yeah,
explosive, he's strong, he's huge, and he's got offloading skills, you know. So I'm a very if I was in Rusty Rasmus' shoes and both were fit, I'd go with Honeycomb every day of the week.
no, I mean it's going to hate me, especially as I'm going to hate myself, especially as a Stormers supporter, where you want to see like as much of the Stormers players in the team. I would actually choose Honeycomb over him. But unfortunately for Honeycomb, he's injured. Russ, I think he could be there if he just works on a couple of things, including his head. He gets into a lot of off the ball things.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me, dude, is Jasper Visa fit?
I don't know, but I also think they're resting him for the Italy Georgia and the championship. So Russ is right now is in the squad for the Barbars.
Look, it'll. I'm excited to see. You know,
Yeah,
any Springbok side. If you put it on the Springbok jersey these days, you're a hell of a rugby player. So you
yeah.
know, we literally we poking at perfection here. You know, it's we scratching for sort of flaws. But yeah,
Yeah.
back to the game this weekend. I think it's going to be exceptionally close. I think it's going to be like 2 or 3 points, and it could go for me. It could go either way.
Yeah. just looking at it, unfortunately, it's the teams at the bottom that didn't make it through to the final. It's the two teams from the top that made it.
I see.
As you can see, we do have the the times of kickoffs all the way from Los Angeles, if you're watching in Los Angeles, to Auckland, even Sydney, if you want to, even Dubai. But yes, right now Dublin and Victoria, which is the timelines that we kind of going along, is 5 and 6 o'clock. So that's great. And here's about this weekend, what we have to say about it.
This Saturday, history echoes through Croke Park, Leinster, the Irish Giants, chasing redemption. The Bulls, South Africa's wrecking force, hungry for another upset. It's blue versus blue, north versus south, power versus precision. Who will rise, who will fall? This is not just rugby, this is war. The URC Grand Final, only one will conquer.
So yes, only one will conquer this year's one. And I think it's a big one. Bulls have been in three of, including this year, 4 finals.
Correct.
I mean, this will be their third time. Hopefully, third time's the charm for them.
I think I want to say the Bulls take it. I want to so badly say the Bulls take it.
I'll show you a stat, and there's some more stats that I got from ChatGPT, and I did compare it to a few others, which is legit. Later, with some of the results for the teams, but I mean, as you can see, we got Piardi as the grand final referee. Here's the league of, the Wall of Champions, all the way from Celtic to the Managers League, to the Pro 12, to the Guinness Pro 12, Guinness Pro 14, to the URC, which is all overseas, or up north is the BKT URC. I mean, you can see everything. Leinster has pretty much won it. Last time was in 21, but if you look at that, the last time they won in 21 was the last time the Bulls won the Curry Cup, which of course we had the Rainbow Cup, which was the inaugural and start of the URC at that stage. And I think that was that game that on the same day as them playing the final against Province, they were playing the final against Benetton. On the same day. It wasn't like it was on the same day. So yeah, I mean, as you can see at Croke Park, there's the captain staying there with the trophy. 30,000 tickets have already been sold right now.
Yeah, I mean, I was sort of wondering how that would do, because they've been really poor as sort of a how many people go to the stadium for Leinster. So
yeah,
I was interested to see what happened. They were they weren't doing too well with fan base wise there.
Yeah, so I mean, I missed out on that game, that final. However, I went to that final with Munster, and so the top tier of the stadium is never used. But for that game, it was packed all the way to the top, to the point I couldn't even get 4 seats next to each other. It was 4 seats, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, in rows below. Like you saw people like, are you sitting and like shifting around in the sections just to sit next to the people that they went with, and everything. But I mean, that was an awesome game. Unfortunately, Stormers lost that game. But I mean, like I said earlier, Bulls, Stormers, Bulls. Now it's Bulls and Leinster. 3 out of the past 4 URC finals has included the Bulls, which is awesome. I mean, here we go. We see Jake White said it's going to be like Ireland versus the Vodacom Bulls, and he's not underplaying it. He is taking this game very seriously. But also, if you look at the last 5 results, semi-final, the Bulls came off on top 26-27, which then took them to the final against the Stormers. Then was round 18, 62-7 against Leinster. Then round 13 in 2024, was 47-14 in Leinster's favour. Quarter-final, 25-20 last year, which the Bulls went on to go into the finals for, unfortunately losing. And round 13 this year, where we had that last-minute penalty against the hit penalty from the Bulls, which then they took a penalty and slotted it over to give them a 1-point win. And it was Leinster's first loss of this year. Will this be Leinster's third loss and the Bulls' fifth win in 6 outings? It's going to be.
I think the Bulls put it by a point or two.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see here, the series between the Bulls is a 4-2 over Leinster in the 6 URC meetings since 2021. They both have a playoff encounters, 22 and 24. Close battles in several matches being won by narrow margins, 26-27 and 21-20. Of course, they both have had hidings from each other, 47-14 for Leinster's favour and 62-7 for Bulls. And I mean, the tactical advantages and psychological factors. Right now, Leinster's unbeaten at Croke Park, 4-0 in the current setup. The knockout demons on Leinster's shoulders is also going up against them. The fact that they've lost out in finals in Champions Cup and all that over the past couple of years is probably going to be playing a role in it. And the Bulls are valued as the underdogs, especially with the likes of what's his name, Jake White said. The fact that they got international players from all over the world and British and Irish Lions players in the team. It's going to be hardcore. However, seeing the key players and everything from the Sun, i.e. Leinster Sam Pendergast, young fly half up and coming, but his kicking hasn't been that great this last 6 months.
Yeah, he's a good kicker. I think he's going through a bit of a rough patch, but he's a solid player. He's a superstar in the making. And you know the thing about him is it's not just him. He's probably got take Anton de Pont out of the situation, and Gibson Park is the best scrum half in the world. Then,
yeah,
you know. So he's got the best, one of the best scrum halves in the world on his inside. Who's got a level head, who's played the game, and then he's this young guy with all the talent in the world. So I think he's surrounded by absolute legends of the game. You know, he's got Barrett.
I was about to say, like, if you look at it, either way he looks at it, coming from the ruck, huge experience in the likes of Gibson Park, and then on the next shoulder is sitting Barrett. So
they're just ridiculously strong, and James Lowe is on his day is superb. He's almost like he throws these ridiculous passes, but when they come off, he's superb. And they just
talking about ridiculous. Talking about ridiculous passes, Leinster's Achia Sneeman, who's also named the URC's player of the season, and the Bulls' Volko Lowe, who will anchor the scrums for both sides.
Wasn't he impressive on the weekend?
Yeah, he was. But I mean,
he was impressive.
With legs the size of my torso.
Yeah,
I mean,
that guy's legs. Picking him to watch, I couldn't believe how big that man was. Like, I could not believe how massive that man is. Wow.
You remember what they said about Heinrich Bossou's arms?
Yeah.
It's probably the same kind of analogy to use for Volko Lowe's legs. I mean, like, I saw his legs the one time, and I was like, and they're not anything but pure muscle.
Yeah, they're just solid pieces of meat. Huh?
Yeah. And I mean, of course, when you look at the playmaking edge that we were talking about with the likes of the Barrett and the Gibson Park, the Bulls also have Billy LaRue in their side, who is
He's been playing
pretty
well
awesome.
too. He's
Yeah.
been playing superbly.
And I don't know what it is, but it almost seems like he's been whispering in Caden Moody's ear. Because
I'm
Caden
sure he
Moody's,
has. I'm sure. You know, he's taken a sort of leadership role, and I'm sure he's mentoring a lot of the youngsters for sure. I have no doubt about that.
I mean, Rassi said it that is Villy's role, literally from the end of this year, is to mentor the youngsters and bring them back up. I mean, next season is going to be even dangerous with the fact that Pollard's playing for them, and you got Wilson. I mean, I was talking to someone about that Makaza kid from UCT who signed on with the Cheetahs.
Yeah.
He's also in this Springbok lineup. I said, is he playing with the Cheetahs to get a little bit of pro experience before he moves over? But then where would he move over? And this was before the weekend. Then after this weekend, I was like, would he not maybe work at the Sharks, given that whole thing? Because right now, I don't know. Jordan Hendrickson hasn't been that great this year for me. He hasn't been Springbok quality at 10. Would someone like him rather work better there, especially with the likes of Sia also not doing so great at 10? I mean, everybody was talking great about him last year, but it almost seemed like he was a bit of a one-season wonder for the Sharks.
Well, I mean, I know that he signed with the Cheetahs before he made the Springbok squad. So I think, I honestly believe that's probably the only union that approached him. And I think it was one of those first come, first serve situations where he got such a fright that he's actually got offered a contract from a good union that he sort of jumped up at the opportunity. And had he not and waited, would he have got other offers? Especially after getting into the Springbok squad, I think offers would have flown in from the Sharks and the Bulls. I think
you see that now. You say that now. I think the Bulls is a hard thing to get in, especially with the fact that Pollard's not coming back, because Pollard's going to be number one.
He played wing at UCT. You know what I mean? You know, he's a utility back. He played fullback, wing, and fly off.
But then wouldn't the Lions maybe be the one to suit him?
Well, I mean, as a suitable sort of slot in, you know, well, you know.
You see,
but goes Cheetahs. I mean, you know, he might just have a runaway season, in which case he'll get snapped up by either the Bulls or the Sharks.
Or somewhere overseas.
Or he'll, you know, it'll get too much for him. Because, I mean, from going from Varsity Cup to international, it's not even a big step. It's on a different planet. It's on a different planet, you know what I mean? So, who knows? Rusty's seen playing in. He's obviously keeping up with the trainings.
Yeah.
So
I'm all for him, and I'm glad someone like that, and I'm glad another star from Varsity Cup has been given the opportunity. I just hope with the issues that are happening with the Cheetahs, and I'm not saying it in a bad way, just the fact that they don't play URC, they only get to play Challenge Cup, but Challenge Cup is overseas. Will he get a bit lost in there? That is my concern with that. However, playing for the Cheetahs does mean he will get more time playing, because he won't really need to fight against the quality that is sitting at like the Bulls and here at the Stormers, Lions a bit, and Sharks. That's what I said prior to this.
I think it's a nice stepping stone for him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you look at someone like Mbimpy, went from Border to the Kings, from the Kings, I think he went to the Cheetahs, and from the Cheetahs to the Sharks.
Yeah.
So like they're all like little stepping stones until he got to, like, you know, the big dog.
But
Maybe he
what
needs a
worked in there.
season at that.
Yeah.
You know, he's young. Give him a season there. Then it's just more experience he can gain, and then he takes that step up again.
I mean,
I'm
yeah,
not opposed to it.
yeah. We'll carry on with this discussion, but I mean, on what to expect on the final is we can see a lot of set piece showdown. It's going to be hectic,
Oh, the
tactical
lineouts. Wait, the lineouts
kicking,
are going to
yeah,
be so nice.
and the mental resilience. Now, this is where I think some of the Springboks who have won the World Cup will benefit in this game, but yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, it's hectic.
For me, the Bulls know how to win close games.
Yes.
They, in the last 10 minutes, if there's a point in the game or 2 points in the game, back the Bulls.
They're not going to give up. Yeah, they won't give
However,
up. I will give them
think
that.
If you switch the table and Leinster were 2 points down with 2 minutes to go, would they be able to penetrate the Bulls' defense and then go and win a penalty to win it? I don't think so. I think the Bulls will want it more and they'll hit harder and they'll have that in your face. So I just think if it comes down to the wire, the Bulls will take it because they've just got that dog in them. They've got that hunger.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. The Bulls, with the older players that they have with the experience, I think that's where they come in and they lead the guys in the right ways. And they say like, whoa, take a step back. Let's concentrate on the. And then there's that time where they just like, go. Like open the gate and let the youngsters run free and cause havoc. And then there's that point where they go, okay, now stop, come back. Yeah. Let's concentrate. Let's go back to the basics. And I think that's what's missed in a lot of rugby these days is you get these guys who get all extravagant with their passes, but when things go wrong, they start going wrong. They don't have that mentality to go like, okay, stop, go back to the basics, and then we'll get the confidence back up, build a foundation for it, and then break off. I mean, if you watch Arceus Neyman, he doesn't go for offload the first pass. The first pass is always two-handed or something like that. Then slowly but surely, then it's like, okay, cool, one-hand passes and everything. But of course, his passes he makes sure of. It isn't like oh, look, there's a bird there, let me pass the ball that way. It's always got some sort of basic mentality to those passes, which probably makes it look better than it really is sometimes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, how it all pans out in the weekend. I do think it's going to be a close game though, and it's going to be physical as all hell.
It's going to come down to one kick or one try.
Scrums will be interesting. That's scrums and lineouts for me. I'm very interested to see what happens there because I think they're both pretty well suited. But then I watched the Bulls scrum the Sharks to death in the first half, and that was wow. In the second half, the Sharks came back. But
it'll be interesting to see what the teams are. I think everybody's trying to hold their cards to their chest and until the final.
They'll probably be announced tomorrow. I think.
Yeah,
I think they'll be
Friday
announced.
latest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever you select in your team, you're gonna have to have someone lead each pack and each pod and everything like this to say like, okay, cool. Like I said, youngsters go, or well, hold it, pull it back. Let's just get the phases going. Make sure we seal off correctly. And
that's
everything.
where strong leadership comes in, and that's why also Hanekom going off. I think he was quite an influential guy, so that's also a big loss in that sense. So forget his skills, but just what he brings to the game as a leader. That's for me is a massive loss for the Bulls and for South Africa at this stage. Hopefully it's not as bad as it looked, and I don't know the seriousness of the injury, but hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully it's not surgery or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I doubt he'll be in the lineup for this weekend. That's for sure.
No, I won't see him. And I mean, already Rusty's replaced him in the squad with Russ. However, like I said earlier, I think Russ is more just to cover for the bars, unless he has a phenomenal game or something like that. But yeah, let's just see. Cameron Honeycomb. The Bulls will be without Cameron Honeycomb. There we go. 13 pounds. So my daughter's knocking, so my dogs are going crazy. Oh, come on. What's happening? Let's go back. Let's go back in here. It's unfortunate to see that he's out. His hamstring after the weekend. They could see him out for extended spell depending on the severity. So even 13 hours ago, there has been no update as far as I can see to see how long he's out for. But we do know he is out for the final. Bulls number 8 will play in the URC finals. So he probably didn't even go up with them, or maybe he did for the, yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what how it goes. I know part of the reason why Honeycomb only made the squad was because South Africa wanted to block him from Wales, and I was like, oh look how great he is at international level. So yeah, and that's also a funny thing is how many players are actually getting blocked for playing overseas, but getting them to play for the Springboks, let it be junior or something like that. You look at Sasha. Sasha played under 20s. Part of the reason was to stop Eddie Jones from poaching him to play for England, because Eddie Jones was looking to play him for England because he has a British passport through his father.
So
So
I mean, you look at the Lions squad itself,
yeah,
I think it's the same like six players that are not even from those countries. So, and I mean, funny enough, you're probably looking at both your starting wings at that point. Didn't grow up thinking, can't wait to wear the red jersey.
they were
so
thinking of wearing the green and the black one.
yeah, that's correct. So, and you look at, it's just, I don't know. I think that they're going to change that. I mean, Gibson Park, 3 years playing in Ireland, can qualify to play for Ireland. 3 years.
But no, you say that. I actually saw I saw an article from about Mark Talia, fact that he's going to Japan, that will actually take him out, or his contract will take him out of contention for the All Blacks. And at the end of the World Cup, he's technically available to play for the Springboks because his father's from South Africa.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, he's a great rugby player. So,
but would he make the team? That's the question.
I mean, yeah.
Because if you look at our wingers, but if you look at our wingers are utilities.
Bro, you'd make the team. You'll make the team. Like, you might rotate, but he's gonna be in the situation. He's gonna be in the Springbok squad.
Yeah, and I think the other one that he had an option with was Tonga.
Yeah, but he won't do that. He's not gonna leave New Zealand for Tonga. He might leave New Zealand for South Africa, but not Tonga.
Yeah.
But 100%, bro. Like, there's no question about it, bro. He's good enough. He'll be in the situation, 100%.
But I mean, talking about going to Japan and everything, we were just talking about it earlier about that whole thing that Dobson now has this Project 2029, and apparently one of the things that they are planning on or the player that they're planning on talking to is none other than Cheslin Colby.
Yep.
And I mean, it's more to fill the leadership role, and we do understand probably after the World Cup, he'll be, 33, so maybe he's got like a couple more seasons left in him. But yeah, I'm quite excited to hear that Dobson is now planning beyond, because I think we got a lot of youngsters coming in. We signed in quite a lot of youngsters from schools and varsity and everything like that. And I'm excited to see where that's going to go for them. And at the same time, it does also show that we're not going to have anybody with enough what's called leadership role. And of course, as soon as you bring in someone with the caliber of Cheslin Colby into a team, if he says jump, everybody's going to go, yes, sir, how high, on the way up.
Yeah, I mean, my only worry with this is we can't even sign the likes of Marvin Ori because we can't afford him.
Yeah.
But we want to go and buy one of the top 10 most expensive rugby players in the world rugby at the moment. So I don't know how negotiations are going to go that way. I don't,
Yeah.
I mean, I trust me, I'm a Stormers fan. Bring it, bring him home, please.
But I mean, it's that whole conversation as well that they had earlier on about Sia. Like, Sia is like, no, he wants to come back to the Stormers. He wants to go back to the Stormers. And it just showed you how much dire straits the Stormers were, because they were like, well, we would love you back. However, if you want to be released, you have to organize your release clause, not us. That can't come out of our pocket, because of course there was a huge payment to get. Yeah,
there's done the finances, and that's the other thing is if you want to get someone with name like Cheslin Colby is going to be worth a fortune. I don't think our problem lies in the back line. I think our problem lies in the forwards, and I think we need to start looking at someone bringing Thomas du Toit back, for example. He's come off the bench for Bath at the moment. Bath are playing in the final against Leicester in the Premier League. So, and he's been fantastic for Bath. Coming off the bench, he's destroyed guys. And then Pollard.
You look at the final against Leon, how the scrums were very even, and then when he came on with Van Wyk.
Yeah, but Bath have destroyed in the Premier League this year. They've been absolutely dominant. So, for me personally, love Cheslin Colby, one of my favorite players, the utmost respect to him on every level. I just don't know, for one, if we can afford him, and two, if we can afford him, is it worth spending all that money on him than
not a youngster,
then buying like 2 or 3 props or hookers, or where we're a bit thin.
But now you say that, we got the likes of Intunu coming to Stormers. I do like the guy. However, I am a bit concerned with his injury that he picks up. Now, can't remember. I also heard there's a Argentinian prop also coming, a 29-year-old Argentinian prop.
Okay, I haven't heard anything about that one, but I mean, Argentinians can all scrum, so that's fine. But yeah, for me, I mean, bring the guy home. We'd love to have him. It's just I worry about financial side of things with the Stormers if we fail to sign someone like Marvin Ori because we can't afford him.
My only other concern is Rock Nation, because Cheslin signed with Rock Nation as part of his agency.
Then he would go to the Hollywood Sharks. Then
you see that's the problem.
That's what would happen. But I don't know if he would do that because his family's in Cape Town. So
yeah, as I said to someone, I said, is it viable for him? Because someone like him who is literally a cult hero. I mean, yes, even SB's a cult hero, but the colored community would be highly upset if he went and signed for another team.
For me, I mean, you got to understand that it's his job, and if you put it into to terms that we would understand. If one of job's offering you 40,000 Rand a month, another job's offering you 20,000 Rand a month, but you work the same hours, you put in the same effort, but you get double the money at the other job. Why on earth would you take the one? So, I mean, you can't blame the guy.
Yeah.
You can't blame the guy, because if you put it like that, hell no, am I going to 20,000 Rand job? I'm going to go and do the 40,000, because if I'm going to do the same work, I may as well get paid more.
I still remember when I met Dwayne Vermeulen when he just signed for Toulon, and I saw it, and he agreed to meet me. Like, I already saw in his face, he was like, "Oh gosh, here you go, another Stormers fan who's gonna tell me off and everything like this." And I immediately said to him, I was like, "Dude, I don't blame you. You know what? All the best to you. Go and do it. I knew it was gonna happen and everything." I think there was a report that came out early that year that was just a bit of a fake report that he was looking to go to Bath to go join Francois Lowe and everything. And as soon as I read that report, I was like, I bet you this is fake. However, someone else is going to hear the news and they're going to go, you know what, that sounds like a great idea. Let's go get him. And that's what happened. He went to Toulon. And as I said, I don't blame you.
No, I mean, at that stage, also, you must sort of remember at that stage in his career, he knew he was sort of coming, he had a couple of years left. Not that, I mean, and why not? It's his retirement fund. He get paid in thousands and thousands of euros. Why not? And I mean, what's it? It's 21 Rand to the euro. You know what I mean? So, like, the dude's going to go back to South Africa and not have to worry about money for a while, or he could start his own business or whatever the dude wants to do. But he's got into coaching, which means
I was about to say he's a coach now.
you know, so he's doing just fine. And good on him. He deserves it. He worked flipping hard his whole career. So
yeah, it's 20 as of now, right now, the 11th of June at 6:30, it's 20 Rand and 23 cents to the euro.
Yeah. So I mean, he's laughing.
And you know what? There's a lot of it where I see these guys that are going overseas, and yes, I'm a bit like, oh, we just lost another player to overseas. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I'm a father. I've got a kid. If I had that opportunity, I'd also take it. Like, you go live your basic life there. You go do your job, and basically knowing that you are providing a better better lifestyle for your family.
100%.
Yeah.
You know.
And I mean, if I got into that scenario with my daughter and everything like that, I would do it because I know she would benefit from me doing that.
Yeah.
And everything. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for the likes of Sia, but the problem with Sia is there's also a big what's that thing called again? Like cult following of him because of what he's done with the Springboks and everything like that, which unfortunately played against him and part of the reason why he wanted to come home. And also, yeah. But then you look at the likes of Cheslin, who has had 2 kids overseas with his wife, and they're enjoying life where they are because they are together.
Jessica feels almost fluent in Japanese.
Yeah, I mean, Flip, the clip that I put on our group and everything, like, yes, when I heard him talk, I was like, holy crap, are we going to lose him? I mean, he almost looks like he could fill in as a natural born player for them, the way he speaks it. I mean, it's like Reynard Alstad speaking French as well. Yeah. And I mean, I was watching Chasing the Sun too, and there was a clip of the guys in the south of France at the beach. And like all the youngsters around Cheslin and Colby, and Cheslin was basically like responding to them in French. I was like, oh, damn. Like, that's hectic.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they spent a long time, 4 seasons or 5 seasons in France. 3, 4, but somewhere around there.
If I'm not mistaken, if you play in France, I think part of your contract clause is you also have to do French lessons.
I'm sure they would have done it anyways, Matt. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I've been in Germany now close on 4 years, and I can speak German pretty fluently.
Yeah. She's Flip. But yeah, I think on that note, guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe. Push that bell notification to get notified every time we put up a new video, which is once a week, either Thursday evening or Thursday evening, depending on our life and everything like that. I hope everything went well with your test last week, Tim.
Me?
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you had to go do your German nationalization. But anyway, guys, Tim, thanks for joining me. Fellow champions, be well, stay safe.